Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
we are the brave. We'll fight to remain the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say just that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free, and the home of the
What's going on, guys? Hey, Repeat back with you. It's a Monday night. Solo tonight. Eliza is on vacation with her family down at a much nicer place than we all are this evening. But Eliza, if you're out there in the land of Twitch or YouTube this evening, hope you and your family are having a great time on vacation, getting away from everything and all the stresses that life throw at us day in and day out. But tonight it's all about the Shake and Bake iRacing Gen 6 Cup Series live from virtual Homestead Miami Speedway, presented by Izzy and Jay Soap.co. Time for qualifying. We're going to go ahead and clear the boards, get on down with these guys. Got just about 30 of these bad fast drivers, the Shake and Bake's best, here this evening. I was actually here for Dale Jr.'s last ride, as well as Martin Truex Jr.'s Cup Championship back in the day. So let's get on down, find out who's going to be fastest in town. Some were debating whether it was going to be a high line pole or maybe a low line pole, maybe a mix of both. We'll have to see. But let's get on in with some of these guys, find out who's fastest in town, who's going to grab that pole, who's going to start with the clean air on the nose of their machine and get going. How about we start off with Matt Burgess in his number 57 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. You see him taking the access road out, going to wait to blend past that blue commitment cone or blue line. And let's see what he's feeling in this Haviland Texaco machine. Winding it up on the high side, so no real surprise there. Want to try to stay in the throttle as much as possible. Basically just guiding it along, playing with the throttle a little bit. And yeah, we'll have to see what kind of times we see out of this place this evening. Track temp, I'll go ahead and actually show you right now. Track temp very, very high, 137 degrees. So these guys are going to be skating because this track is absolutely crying tears from the heat. Just a cool, calm, and collected 85 degrees in South Miami. But yeah, this track temp may play havoc with these guys as the night rolls on. Let's it's gonna be an interesting race to see how this plays out. Some were having to adjust their wheel ratio. Others maybe the brake bias. Just maybe tapping the brake getting into the corner. Others just basically letting it roll out and go on from there. Wasn't quite able to tell if a bunch were shifting or not. That would be interesting. But this pretty bad fast place, and so far Jamie Wright is on top of the boards with Hernandez, Burgess, Roberts, and Harmon, as Jimmy Cocker went on up and took the number 1 spot. And the guy that we've been following here, Matt Burgess, right now he is sitting P number 4. Let's see if Jimmy Cocker. Yep, Jimmy Cocker is on a second lap, trying to see if he can do better on his flyer. Right now, all the way down to that white line through the corner, and let's see what lap number 2 brings to this Virginia Tech number 11 machine. Really skating up on off the corner, comes to the line. 34.3 is the best he could do. Let's check in with Tom Harmon. Looks like his frozen machine is off track. Right now he sits P number 5. How about Josh Taylor in his more smoke the right front kind of bobbling on and off the car, so he's definitely had some issues. How about this number 91 for Rivers Jones, showing the Izzy and J Soapco colors. He's gonna go ahead and also wait to hit that blend line. Jimmy Cocker looks like still on top. Joe Berg P2, John Jurgensmeyer 3rd, Francis Hamilton 4th, and Micah Allard right now. Those are your top 5. Just as we were watching with Matt Burgess before, 91 really wrapping that high side. You could tell those that are still part of the chase, not only are they in orange on your scoring pile on the left-hand side, but you could also tell by the decal going across their windshield. All those that are part of the chase still repping those colors. Definitely appreciate everybody that's out there in the land of Twitch and YouTube. Again, this is the Shake and Bake iRacing Gen 6 Cup Series. Usually it's over on Frozen Toast 24 with Eliza Bethel and I. Again, Eliza is away on vacation with her family. So just me solo this evening as Rivers Jones puts his machine P2. How about John Honeycutt in his Superman number 50? Honeycutt right now sitting P10. I'm not quite sure. Yep, it looks like he is attempting a second lap. Looking pretty quick going into turns 3 and 4 down on the bottom side. Nope, it looks like he's woeing and slowing it up to bring it on down to pit road. Brendan Book in his number 5 machine looks like he's done. How about Micah Allard? Micah Allard is also wrapped up. So far, those that have not yet made a qualifying lap, Tom Flickroft in his Bud number 8, as well as a few more. Let's get into the warm-up now. Let's see how they were though in practice as the warm-up commences. This might give you a little idea as to what to expect. Jamie Wright in his number 33 was fastest. I believe that says 33 or nope. I'm sorry, not 33. 03. Excuse me. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer was second. Brian Pizzacami with Tom Harmon and Josh Taylor were the top 5 in the first practice. Kevin Dallator, Brendan Book, Austin Mitty, and Brody Falliker with Rivers Jones. That was the top 10. Jordan McGraw with Matt Gale, Joe Berg, Francis Hamilton, and Steven Maggio were the top 15. I'll have to see where Maggio qualified once we get to the grid. And then Micah Allard, William Roberts, and David Moransky rounded out the top 18. All right, so let's see if we can keep up with some of these guys here in practice. How about the number 3 AC Delco machine for Connor Cunningham? Right now he's showing P2. We'll have to see what he's capable of this evening. He actually sent me a message earlier saying, hey, if you need any onboard footage, make sure you go ahead and dial me up. I know what he meant. Unfortunately, I don't have that program to be able to do that. But we do have the a few camera shots around for the various cars. Homestead Miami is definitely a track where you can set up several cameras all the way through. How about from the 3's gyro? Looking ahead at the number 68 Frozen machine for Tom Harmon. There you see the 91 also in front of him. Then there's the 24. So yeah, we got again, I believe it was just about 30, maybe 35 drivers out here on track this evening, and it's gonna be a hot one to say the least. All right, so let's go ahead and clear that away. What do you think, chat? You guys gotta have a favorite this evening? Who's gonna go ahead? Who's gonna get it done when it's all said and done? Who's gonna be able to tame the heat? Whoa, 92 Kevin Dallator just coming across the nose of the 24 Philip Bridgman. That was bad, but good thing it's just practice. Although I'm sure Philip Bridgman probably wanted that a little extra time. Just 92 completely throwing it in and just not able to get enough brake into it, and up the track he went. Right now, Rivers Jones, the fastest man in this practice, with a 34.16. He's shake and bake purple, leading the way over this 5 minutes prelude to what we're going to see here for a full night of racing. What do you think, guys? Who's gonna be able to tame the heat here this evening? Who's gonna go ahead and get it done? Is it gonna be a Maggio? Is Brody Falliker gonna go back to back after winning last week at the Glen? Is Tom Harmon or Jimmy Cocker going to be able to go on up there and battle for a win? How about Micah Allard? Is he going to be able to get on up there in his number 61? 11 giving the 42 a little bit of a shot, but able to save it for the most part. 42 absolutely sideways all the way through the corner, and that 11 is just absolutely dogging that back bumper. Great save by the 42. Coming to 30 seconds left in this practice session, and it's the boards are all over the place. 16 drivers, all the way from Rivers Jones all the way down to Jose Ruiz, went on out during this 5-minute practice, and yeah, took advantage of the free lap time to get on out there and see what the track conditions were like, in case they weren't able to get quite the feel that they needed during their first 45-minute practice. All right, so our warm-up is just about over. You saw the 03 there of Jamie Wright. So let's go ahead and clear the boards and go ahead and pull up our grid, shall we? All right, so Steven Maggio is on pole with that number 51 machine. To his outside is going to be the 5 of Brendan Book. Jimmy Cocker in that number 11 sitting P3. Rivers Jones in the Izzy J. Soapco number 91. P5 is going to be Brody Falliker with Joe Berg to his outside. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer with Francis Hamilton round out row number 4. Row 5 looks like Micah Allard in his number 61 and Matt Sisler, P10. P11 is going to be John Honeycutt in his Team FTR number 50. And to round out the top 12, Jamie Wright in that 03. P13, Tom Harmon in his number 68 with Luke Allen in the 7 to his outside. Row 8 looks like John Hernandez, 15th, and Josh Taylor in his deuce, sitting 16th. 17th, going to be Andrew Sanford with Matt Burgess side by side. Austin Mitty sitting 19th, and Connor Cunningham in that 3 P20. P21 looks like David Moransky in his 711 machine with Jarrett Cardwell in his 12 P22. P23, Dylan Robb in that 16 with Matt Gale in the 67 from across the pond sitting P24. P25 looks like Philip Bridgman, the lone Canadian in the field, with William B. Roberts to his outside 26. 27th in that number 8 machine, the one and only Tom Flitcroft with Jordan McGraw in his Team FTR number 34, 28th. 29th going to be Jose Ruiz in that 2-3. Brian Pizzicemi in the 78, 30th. And last but not least, talking about Kevin Dallator in that 92, bringing up the rear. All right, so that is our full grid. What a great race this is going to be. Definitely glad all y'all are along for the ride. Let's go ahead and clear the grid. Go ahead and bring up your scoring pylon again, as well as everything that you're going to need for this great race here in Homestead. All right, so let's get it on back down to Barney. He's got the field in view. Looks like 8 chasers making out your 8 front cars. Let's go. All right, so it looks like the 51 is Steven Maggio. He's going to go ahead and take a point by leading the first lap here from Homestead. He's got the 5 of Brendan Book and the 11 right behind them. So right now, about the top 5, top 6 or so have gone single file. Everybody back to the 48 of Francis Hamilton in that Team FIWB, Chevrolet. Behind him, you got Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Micah Allard with the 61, with the 91 just underneath there. That's a battle right now for P7, P8. Caution number 1 is going to fly on the evening. Let's see if we can find out exactly what happened here. Looks like William B. Roberts may have something to do with that. So let's go on back with him right quick and see if we can find out exactly what happened. All right, so flip this around. What do you say we jump into our chase cam back here in this number 94 and play this out? Something tells me it may be a little bit of a loose condition on throttle. A little bit of net code between him and the 2. Let's go ahead and back that up just a little bit. Stop right there. And let's play this out at quarter speed. And yeah, definitely probably about a good foot to foot and a half of net code between the 94 and the 2. Nothing that either of them could have done right there. Good job by the 94 of locking it down. That way he didn't come back up track and involve anybody else. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. I don't imagine anybody will be coming down pit road this time by way too early. Let's see. I don't recall if Steven Maggio is in any of the channels. Nope, he is actually down there in GOAT. So let's go ahead and bring him on up to the broadcast booth, see if we can't talk to the pilot of this number 51 Aflac machine. Steven, it's Pete up in the booth, bud. You got a quick copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Steven. I know last week you wanted to recover this week here from Homestead. You started on pole. That's a pretty good start. You led the couple laps so far. How's that 51 feel in practice, and what do you expect out of this evening?
Feels really good. It's got a lot of grip in the corners. You just got to be careful on exit with putting the throttle down. But even that, it's not super bad. And I think that since the top doesn't seem to be really working that well right now, that that's going to play into my favor because I'm pretty good at running the bottom here, and just going to try to keep the tires on it and not kill it on the short run and be slow in the long run. So just going to try to take care of it and have some good long run pace and hold everyone off, hopefully.
There you go. All right, buddy, I'll get you back on down with the rest of your GOAT teammates. Good luck as always, sir. Keep the shiny side up, and maybe we'll be talking to you again when it's all said and done.
Thank you, sir.
You got it. All right, again, that is the pilot of the number 51 Aflac machine, talking about the one and only Steven Maggio. Multiple wins on the season, looking to grab a win here this evening, maybe solidify his points lead going into the championship in just 2 short weeks. What a great race it's going to be, and what a great rest of the season it's going to be as well. All right. Lights top the pace car are on. Brendan Book, Jimmy Cocker, Brody Falliker, and Joe Berg round out the rest of the top 5. Francis Hamilton sitting 6th. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Micah Allard, Rivers Jones, and Jamie Wright round out your top 10. Looks like the 51 has chosen the bottom lane for this restart. You see the 42 of Brody Falliker kind of blinking on the outside just a little bit. He's got the 48, his Team FIWB teammate, right behind him. So in their team chat, I'm sure that they can communicate a little bit, say, hey, Brody, right now you're okay, but I may not be able to push you if you continue to blink. So we'll see. All right, so caution number 1, slowly but surely coming to an end. When we go back green, it'll be lap 7 of 134 here from Homestead, presented by Izzy and Jay Soapco.com. You know, Eliza always talks about the beard balm and the mustache balm and the tattoo butter and the soaps and all that. And as a customer of that product, I tell you, it is absolutely amazing. If you've got dry skin or oily skin, there's a soap for either. If you've got a beard or a mustache, there's a balm for that. But we're going to go ahead and bring it on back to the starter. Barney's got the green flag in hand. Let's go. All right, so it looks like 51's going to be able to hold the 5 of Brendan Book at bay. As being the control car, you've always got a little bit of an advantage because you're the first one on that loud pedal. The 5, the 42, the 11, and others, they've all got to react to what you're already doing. So you get that little extra jump as it looks like we've got a battle for the lead. The 5 of Brendan Book throwing it to the inside. The 42 Lincoln behind the 51. Looks like caution number 2 is out. Going to have something to do with Matt Sisler, Austin Mitty, and David Moransky a little bit further in the back. Let's go back with the 45 right now and see exactly what happened with Matt Sisler. All right, let's go ahead and bring it on over to our chase cam. Here is that 3 birdies 45. You see the 9 to his outside, and I believe it's going to be the 37 just ahead. Let's play this out and see what happens here. 7-11 giving the 45 just a little bit of a shot. Let's actually back that up just a tad. And let's stop this. Let's look back from the 45 if we can. And see if we get a clear shot. How about from the left rear? No. And maybe. Let's try this at quarter speed. Yeah, just like maybe a little bit of a push. And it got the 45 out of sorts. And 45 tagged the 9. 9 tags the Waller, gets out of sorts, comes back on down, picks up the 7-11, the 24-3, 12 of Jarrett Cardwell and others able to get on by. Everybody wrecking on the bottom, spinning throughout, able to lock their machines down and not come back up on track. Great job by all 3. All right, let's go ahead and bring it on back, shall we? All right, so now Brendan Book leading the way. Brendan Book should be right in C Motorsports. See if I can find him right quick. Yep, there he is. He's actually hanging out in output this evening. Brandon, it's Pete up in the booth, bud. You got a quick copy? Actually, for some reason, it didn't take him. Let's try that again. Brandon, it's Pete up in the booth, bud. You got a copy? Brendan, you got me, sir?
I got you.
There you go. Now I got you. All right, Brendan. So you got to the party a little late, but right now you find yourself leading the 51 by taking that spot on the low side through the practice and the 5-minute warm up that we all had.
Taking the outside.
You're taking the outside.
Sorry, I had to call what lane I was calling. We're coming 1 degree.
I get. No, you're fine. What do you expect out of this 5 machine here from Homestead tonight?
I mean, I think a lot of it's going to be if you can manage your tires, because the car does drop off quite a bit lap time wise, and you do start to lose grip. I mean, from what I experienced in practice, you could definitely overdrive it on entry and kill your right front, but then you also can overdrive it on real loose. So you just got to try to find that perfect balance of both of those. And then obviously, hopefully we can get some green runs here to see who is the best at that. But right now, I guess, we've only had like 5 green flag laps, so, I mean, it's hard to tell right now what everybody's got.
All right, Brandon, I'll get you back on down with the rest of output. Good luck, keep the shiny side up, and maybe we'll talk to you again a little bit later on.
Yep, thanks.
You got it, buddy. All right, one more time, Brendan Book, pilot of that HendrickCars.com number 5 machine, back on down to output. We'll have to see exactly how this shakes out for him. Pace car should be pulling off. Next time we go by Barney, it'll be the start of lap number 12. And looks like that's going to happen here. So let's go ahead and bring it on back to Barney. He's got the green flag up. Book, Maggio, Cocker, Falliker, and Jurgensmeyer all inside the top 5. All chasers. We're green. Let's go. All right, 5 with a pretty big commanding lead right now. He said he needed to take care of those tires, so I imagine he's going to work at doing just that. Here comes the 11 of Jimmy Cocker up on the high side, trying to wrap the wall and pull ahead on the 51 of Steven Maggio. Looks like that momentum is going to be able to make him or allow him to do just that. Micah Allard also right now up 5 spots to take P4. We got a battle for the lead, 11 down low, 5 up in that middle groove, 51 of Maggio wondering which line is going to go, and yep, it's going to be the one with the momentum. 5's going to be able to move on up. 51's going to go ahead and pull low, try a little bit of a crossover move. So far, not able to pull up ahead of that 11. 11 really wrapping that blue wall that surrounds Homestead Miami Speedway and keeping that momentum in the car. Micah Allard now challenging the 51, also up on that high side. There you see Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00 behind that Aflac number 51. There's the 42 of Brody Falliker, last week's winner from Watkins Glen and last season's champion when we ran the Xfinity Series here in Shake and Bake. Looks like the 51's going to slide up right in front, as it looks like the 00, a little bit of a blink, but the 91, here he comes. Here comes Rivers Jones in that Izzy and J Sopco number 91. He's got Jonathan Hernandez right behind him. You see the 24 up by the wall. He's going to be closing up pretty quick with that high side momentum also. Here comes the number 1 of Hernandez, talking about Jonathan Hernandez, that is. Couple wins this season, last one being at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's got a whole lot of momentum in his back pocket right now, and he's loving the way that the chase has come to fruition for him so far. He's going to push that 00. 00 is going to get up right behind the 42. Starting to see more and more wrap that bottom side than the high side. Might be a little bit more grip down there, not 100% short. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track temp. We were looking at it earlier. It was showing 137 degrees. Well, right now down to 134 with an 85-degree air temp. little bit of a breeze, about 5 miles per hour. Not too bad, but that's the way that those are the track conditions, I guess we could say, at the moment. All right, looks like Jimmy Cocker was able to get on up there and take the lead from the 5 of Brendan Book. Let's see if we can see exactly how that happened right now. All right, so look, the 11 just really up on that high side and keeping all that momentum. The only thing about that is you're wearing out the right front tire just a little bit more unless you're able to get that right rear to really cook for you. The 11 just going to take it all the way down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4, and that's how we've got a new leader. Let's go ahead and bring it back live. Now Jimmy Cocker go ahead and taking the low side, or maybe just one groove up off the bottom. The 5 of Brendan Book looks like he's a little loose. Right rear kind of stepping out just a little bit, but definitely not out of control. The 51 of Steven Maggio and Micah Allard, they've got the 1 of Hernandez right behind. There's the 24 of Philip Bridgman. He's going to go ahead and scoot on up to the high side, maybe searching for just a little bit more grip. But he's going to have a good pull of cars, as it looks like the first, 7 or 8 cars all nose to tail right now until we get to the corners. Battle right now between the 00 of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and the 24 of Philip Bridgman. Philip, he's up on the high side, now pulling even with the 42, able to throw it into the corner just a little bit deeper than the rest, and kind of going up the banking just a tad. Got a battle back for the lead. Brendan Book able to move back on up to the 11's front right, or right front quarter panel. For the 11 not quite able to get back into gas at the same point. And the 5 taking a lesson from the 11, using that high side momentum and rocking himself in that HendrickCars.com machine back to the lead. Jamie Wright, who's fastest in the first practice this evening in that 03 machine, finds himself in P10. He's up 2 spots from where he started. There are a lot of big movers so far, yet we've had a few cars get involved in some cautions. No real hard contact from what I can recall right now. But Jonathan Hernandez in this number 1 machine, who's to the outside of the 42 of Brody Falconer right now, he's already up 10 spots. Philip Bridgman back here in the 24, he's up 18 spots. Jared Cardwell back here in 11th in that Team FTR number 12, he's up 11. Looks like we got Matt Gale from across the pond over in the UK. He's also up 10 spots. Brian Pizzikemi, who makes it a challenge every single week, he is up 15 spots to P15 after starting 30th. And of course, with that, with all those guys moving up spots, you're going to have several that have lost several spots as well. Luke Allen, he's down 3, sitting 17th. Francis Hamilton, he's down 10 in his number 48. John Honeycutt, he's down 8 to P19. And around out the top 20, we got Joe Berg in a 93, down 14 spots with Matt Burgess just behind. So this, you're not missing anything up front. It looks like the number 51 of Steven Maggio was able to get back around the 11 of Jimmy Cocker. Jimmy Cocker letting it eat all the way up to the wall. The 42 of Brody Falconer almost getting into the left rear of that 11, but able to put a little bit more, maybe crank a little bit extra wheel in that, and we are staying green. 24 though, making all kinds of hay up on that high side behind the 11. Of course, again talking about Philip Bridgman. Down the backstretch, Brandon Book still leading. Maggio running second, nose to tail. And then we got Micah Allard in that 61, up 6 spots. He's kind of hunting down possibly a second, or getting to lead some laps here pretty soon. Brody Falconer, again, after winning the Glen last week, sitting P4. Jimmy Cocker right behind him. Tom Harmon in that I almost said Avril Lavigne, number 68, because that's what I'm used to, in that Frozen machine. He is sitting there in P11. He's up 2 with Andrew Sanford and Jamie Wright right around him, I should say. It's interesting. The best lap, for example, Brendan Book here, his fastest lap was a 34.38. His last lap was a 35.86. So definitely slowing things down just a little bit. Let's actually take a look at some lap times between the top 3. All right, so you see Book, Maggio, and Allard. Brendan Book, he's been fastest 2 of the last 5 laps. It looks like Maggio and Allard have kind of thrown fastest lap between the 2 of them, kind of back and forth. You see the 42 up there wrapping the high side. For the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, he's going to go ahead and move on up there just behind him. Jonathan Hernandez in that number 1 Chevrolet, up 9 spots right now, sitting P6, and we got a battle. Polish Hammer out there in the land of Twitch says, what a shame that crash basically ended my night early. Had some damage that wasn't fixable and made the car practically undrivable. Thank you for doing the stream duties, Pete. We appreciate you. Polish, definitely appreciate you too, man. Sorry to hear about your luck this evening. Very, very early, unfortunately. But hey, next week is another race, and it's one of my most favorite tracks, Michigan International Raceway, and I'll be right back with the one and only Eliza Bethel, Frozen Toes, for that broadcast. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You want to talk about a track that lends itself to some great 3, 4, and sometimes 5 wide finishes. I have no doubt Michigan will not disappoint next week, and then after that, it is the season finale at Atlanta, and I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Polish says Michigan is one of my favorite too. I'm excited for it. Yes, sir. So am I. All right, looks like we got a battle for the lead. Brendan Book up on that high side. You saw the rear end kind of kick out just a little bit. 51 able to pull low. 42 is going to pull it just a little bit lower. Can the 42 of Falliker get back in the throttle? No, he's not going to be able to. He's going to fall into the clutches of Micah Allard in that 61. 42 is going to pick a lane, block Allard's line, and right now going down the high side. 5 still leading the way, but Maggio is definitely down low. 42 right behind him, then Allard, then Jimmy Cocker. Jimmy Cocker's going to go ahead and let that Virginia Tech machine eat up towards that outside wall. 5, not quite sure if he almost lost it there. If he did, great save, but otherwise just getting right back behind the 51 of Stephen Maggio. Maggio back to the lead. Maggio is one of those guys, and I'm not saying that Brendan Book's not. He's one that says, you know what, you go ahead. He does basically what he did when we talked to him. He's just going to conserve the tires to be there at the end. 5's going to go back to the high side. 42 of Brody Falliker also down low. He still has Micah Allard right behind him, but 42 is going to go ahead and pull to the left rear of the 5, maybe try to drag him back a little bit, as 61 is going to get to the back bumper of the 42. The 11 is also going to go high. Rivers Jones back here in this number 91, sitting P6. Now with Jimmy Cocker to his outside, and as I mentioned before, Jonathan Hernandez up 8 spots solidly inside the top 10, sitting P7. Last time we saw Tom Harmon, he was sitting P11. Now he's sitting 8th. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer P9, and Andrew Sanford sitting P number 10. Some great 2-wide shots going all the way back. In fact, if we look at Maggio and then go ahead and take a look at his rear bumper camera, I mean, these battles got to be absolutely fierce for what he's seeing in his rear view. He sees the 42. He knows that he's fast. He sees the 5 of Brendan Book. He knows that he was fast and was able to get on up there and challenge him for a couple laps as well. If we look ahead from the 42 of Brody Falliker, this is what he's seeing from his roof cam. Kind of getting a little bit lower than the 51. That way he's able to keep just a little bit of clean air on the nose of his RJ Creative 42 Chevy Camaro. Micah Allard looking ahead from his roof cam. Looks like Micah might be able to roll the center just a little bit more, but looks like the 42 is able to get on the throttle a little bit quicker than his 61 of Allard. How about Brendan Brook? We've been watching his right rear get a little sideways. Let's take a look at that as he comes through. Comes through turns 3 and 4. He's got the 91 of Rivers Jones up on his high side. 91's going to have a little bit of a run, but the 5 of Brendan Brook looks like nice and steady there. Looking back now from the 5 towards the 68 of Tom Harmon, as well as I believe that was just the 11 of Jimmy Cocker. Yep, up on the high side. Some great shots all the way around. Caution is out. Caution number 3 on the evening. Looks like Connor Cunningham in that number 3 may have something to say about this. Let's go on back with that driver right now, see if we can find out exactly what happened. Let's go on over to our chase cam. There you see him in that AC Delco number 3 on the bottom. He's got the 03 of right up high. Let's play this out, shall we? Oh! 03 is going to go towards that inside wall. Does he make contact or lock it down in time? Looks like he locks it down in time. But let's actually watch that again, shall we? Let's play that out at quarter speed. So you see the 3, he's all the way down to the bottom. Looks like the 03 kind of holding his line up there. And the 3 just starts to eat coming up and off. Not quite sure if his spotter said he was clear or what the case may be, but that 3 just continued to slide up track, and I don't think we're going to be able to claim netcode on any of this one. Nope, it looks like the 03 right is able to continue on, but the 3 goes for a high-speed slide into the inside or close to the inside wall, not hitting it though, not causing any damage to that AC Delco Camaro. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. All right, so it looks like Luke Allen in that number 7 machine, he went ahead and stayed out. Not quite sure if he's going to go ahead and pit this time. Looks like he was on pit road last at lap number 9. Still on a lead lap, though. So let's see if we can find Luke Allen right quick and maybe pick his brain out of FIWB Esports, shall we? Luke, it's Pete up in the booth, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. You were in last on lap 9. Here you are. You're staying out. Everybody else went down pit road, so you're going to have Brody Falliker, Steve Maggio, and Micah Allard to round out the top 4. Did you make a mistake and not go down pit road, or is this part of your strategy, sir?
I think earlier, I accidentally took tires on one of the first yellows, and if I pit for tires now, I'd be kind of toast later. I won't have tires on. So I figured just stay out now, take the point, and then just hopefully don't crash, and then I'll be back in 20th in a few laps. So.
Well, you're doing a little bit more than taking a point as far as leading. You're also taking a point for leading a lap as well. What do you expect out of this number 7 machine on the restart? You think it might be a little loose, try to kick out on you, or you think you got a pretty good launching number 7?
Yeah, I'm expecting some wheel spin and probably loose in the first couple of corners. I'm just going to try to hang on. Everybody's going to be way faster than me, so just hang on, get to the back safely, and then we'll try to work our way back up. Feeling good. I think a top 10 is definitely on the board for tonight.
All right, well, I'll definitely I'll look forward to seeing that, and I'll hold you to it as well. Good luck as always, sir. Keep the shiny side up, and go get them.
Thanks, sir.
You got it. One more time, the pilot of this number 7 Cabela tracker machine for Bass Pro. Back on down to FIWB Esports. Wish him all the luck there is. I mean, when you're forced to make that strategy, you have to stay out because there's limited sets of tires. Sometimes it's the call that you've got to make. All right, so let's get ready, back up to go. Lights atop the pace car are out. Everybody's all racked and stacked back up, all the way back through the field. Brody Falliker to his outside. Stephen Maggio, P3. Allard, Rivers, Jones. We're going to round out the top 5. We're going to go ahead and bring it all back to Barney in the start stand. Let's go.
Green, green, green.
Back up top, Brody Gallagher able to make pretty quick work of his Team FIWB teammate, Luke Allen. 42 taking the lead, and he's flat flying right now. Micah Allard in that 61 P2. The 91 of Rivers Jones right now taking over the P3 spot, battling to the inside of Micah. Micah should be able to get back in the throttle sooner. Looks like Jamie Wright and William Roberts, as well as Connor Cunningham, might have something to do with caution number 4. Let's go back with the 03 right now, see if we can find out exactly what happened. Nope, I wanted Jamie Wright. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and flip the camera around and take a look from here. Let's play this out. 94 to the outside. There you see the 3 of Connor Cunningham, so the 3 wide. A little bit of contact there between the 94. Let's back this up just a tad. I don't know if the 94 tagged the wall or what that was exactly. Let's stop that, and let's play this at quarter speed. 94 kind of rocking a little bit of the gray ghost scheme from days ago. And it forces the 03 down. I think there might have been a little bit of net code between the 03 of Wright and the 94. And then you see how Connor Cunningham got involved, and that's all she wrote. All right, let's play this from Connor Cunningham's point of view, shall we? Just completely blindsided. Nothing he could have done about that. Definitely some damage on it this time. Not able to lock it down. There you see the 94 and another on the inside wall. Let's play this from William Roberts. Roberts trying to lock it down, hitting the inside wall. No saving that one. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. So Brody Falconer now leading for Team FIWB. I know right where to find this driver. This RJ Creative, number 42, bad fast every single week. Again, winning last week at the Glen. Brody, it's Pete up in the booth, bud. You got a quick copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Brody, bad fast on that restart. Of course, we know Luke Allen didn't go down pit road because he had taken a set of tires back on lap 9. So able to make pretty quick work of him. What do you see out of this 42 as the night goes on? Can you go back-to-back and get a second win in 2 consecutive weeks, sir?
Man, I'll tell you what, this 42 RJ Creative car is bad fast on the long runs. I feel like we had something for Steven before that caution to end the stage. Man, I'm really upset. I'm really upset that that caution came out. I feel like we could have contended for the win right there, but yeah, I mean, this car is decent on the short runs, and you know, you're just kind of saving tires, riding around. But on the long run, this is where this thing eats.
All right, Brody, I see everybody's getting all racked and stacked back up. Lights, top, the pace car are out, so I'll get you back on down with the rest of your Team FIWB teammates. Wish good luck to you and the rest of your team for me. We'll talk to you again a little bit later on.
Thank you, Pete.
You got it. All right, one more time. Pilot of this number 42 RJ Creative Chevy Camaro, the one and only Brody Falconer. Again, winner last week and the championship last season, while in the Xfinity Series, trying to go back-to-back championships in season number 5. All right, so we're working caution number 4 on lap 43. When we come on by Barney next time, we start lap 44. Let's go ahead and bring it on back to Barney right now as they come through turns 3 and 4. Got to go ahead and watch that pace car make that hard left turn towards Albuquerque and set the field green one more time.
Green, green, green.
Brake flag. caution's out. You see a big wreck in the back. I think that might be right again. I'm not 100% sure. Find out here in just a moment. And let's see here. Joe Berg and possibly Matt Gale. So let's go back with Joe Berg. You definitely see those Jeff Gordon colors on him. Let's go ahead and flip this around to the chase cam. Number 93 on the bottom. There you see the 2 of Josh Taylor and the 67 of Matt Gale up top. Let's play this out. Oh, just a sandwich. No, Joe Berg nowhere to go whatsoever. Let's actually back that up one more time because I'm not quite sure how that all played out between the 67 and the 2. Let's actually go up with the 67 of Matt Gale instead and play this out. So 67 up on the high side. You see the 2 come up. The 67 maybe made a little bit of a movement. Not 100% sure, but the 2 able to go on. 67 might have a little bit of damage on that left rear, but definitely Joe Berg suffered the biggest damage in this caution. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. All right, so we talked to Brody Falliker. Let's see if we catch up with the one and only Rivers Jones. Rivers should also be right there in Team FIWB. Let's see if we can't pull the pilot of that number 91, Izzy and Jay Sopco Camaro, up to the booth. Rivers, it's repeat up in the booth, bud. You got a quick copy?
I do.
All right, Rivers, finding your way up to P2, up 2 spots from where you qualified, right there with your Team FIWB teammates, both Brody Falliker and Jimmy Cocker. Micah Aller right now sitting P4 and Brendan Book P5. This that Camaro looks like it's got that Ford looks like it's got a bunch of speed in it, sir. Can you take the lead and maybe grab this win tonight, sir?
We'll see, man. I think I have a real good shot tonight. The car feels real quick. Car feels stable. I'm really confident.
Confidence can be great. At one point, though, did you feel in any part of the practice or the warm-up where you felt pretty comfortable in the speed of the car, and you think it might just come down to race management? Where does that kind of cross over for you?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like a lot of races at Homestead are just speed management. I mean, race management, excuse me. You have to be clean. You can't be making a lot of mistakes because it's really hard to recover track position whenever you've lost it. So definitely key to manage your race here for sure.
All right, Rivers, I see everybody's getting all racked and stacked back up. I definitely wish you a whole lot of luck in that Izzy and Jay Sopco number 91 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. I'll get you back on down with the rest of Team FIWB. Good luck. Go get them. Keep the shiny side up, sir.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You got it. All right, one more time. Pilot of that number 91 Ford. Back to Team FIWB. Wish them all kinds of luck. And again, carrying the sponsor colors for Izzy and Jay Sopco. I put the link out there for them earlier. I'll go ahead and do that again for you right now. Again, if you need any kind of dry skin soap, oily skin soap, you need beard or mustache balm, you need skin balm, you need tattoo butter, whatever the case may be, Izzy and Jay Sopco has you covered. Go on over, hit them up, tell them I sent you, and we're going to go back green. All right. Bring it on back to Barney in the flag stand. He's got the green flag up.
Green, green.
We're green. All right, so it looks like Brody Falliker, by virtue of being in the patrol car, able to be the first one on that loud pedal. He's got the lead still, but not under, or he is, will be under threat from his Team FIWB teammate Jimmy Cocker. Jimmy Cocker pulling to the outside of the 91 of Rivers Jones. Rivers Jones pulling to his inside. back single file back to the 61 of Micah Allard. Behind Micah Allard, you see the double O for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer qualified 7th, up 2 spots to P5. Maggio right where he qualified, sitting not right where he qualified. He qualified on pole. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer 7th, Brendan Book 8th, with Tom Harmon right now under battle. You see the one of Fernandez in front of them. Behind them, you see Andrew Sanford and John Honeycutt. Honeycutt qualified 11th, right now continuing to run right there in that team FIWB. I'm sorry, in that, oh boy, Eliza would kill me. In that team FTR, Superman number 50. He's got the 24 of Philip Bridgman right behind him, as well as the 37 of Andrew Sanford. 2 wide between the 48 and the 2 of Josh Taylor, a little bit further back. Josh Taylor started 16th, right now sitting P15, right behind the 2-4. He's got the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell right behind, and then the 45 of Matt Sisler. Sisler making some pretty big gains after getting involved in a wreck earlier, as everybody's single and double file all the way down the backstretch, heading into turns 3 and 4. Brody Falliker still holding on to the lead. The 11 not quite found a way to get around him as of yet, but Micah Allard really making his march to the front, up 6 spots to P3 right now, and that number 91 again just behind him. Take a look at some lap times between these Team FIWB teammates. Let's go on up with Brody Falliker right now and Jimmy Cocker and take a look at some laps. There's these Jimmy Cocker actually fastest 2 of the last 5 laps, but Brody Falliker with the clean air on the nose of his RJ Creative number 42, absolutely letting that car eat. He said he felt like he's got the car to beat on the long run. Just saw the 61 of Allard push the 11 into turns 1 and 2. 11 able to recover nicely, get all the way down to the white line, back up to the blue wall, down the backstretch. It looks like pretty much everybody back to about John Honeycutt and Andrew Sanford. So right now, the top 10, all single file along the wall for the most part. Looking ahead from Philip Bridgman, there you just see a whole line of cars really just wrapping the white line, and then everybody kind of slowly but surely drifting back up towards the turn 2 wall, down the backstretch. Everybody's pretty much staying in the draft, and if we take a look behind him, kind of a whole lot of the same. You know, there's the 68 of Tom Harmon in his frozen machine. Behind him, you've got Francis Hamilton. Let's see if we can take a look from Hamilton to the back end of that 68. Going down into turns 1 and 2. Looks like the 48 chosen to stay up high behind the 24. Again, that's Philip Bridgman up ahead. Brian Pizzacchemi just behind. He was on the bottom. Maybe a little side-by-side action hit between him and the 2 of Josh Taylor. Watching the practice earlier, these 2 were side-by-side for multiple laps. The 12 of Jared Cardwell, he's up 7 spots in that number 12. A lot of great racing behind, a lot of great racing up ahead, as it looks like Jimmy Cocker was able to get on by the 42 and take the point for the first time this evening. Let's see if we can go back and see how he was able to set that up. Looking for Jimmy Cocker's pass right quick, and here it is. So the 11 really wrapping that wall, carrying all kinds of momentum up and off the corner. Looks like he pulled right behind the 42, then goes ahead and takes that momentum down low. 42 had nothing to say or do about that. The 61 of Micah Allard, he's going to stay right behind the 42. The 11 taking the point, and now he's got all that clean air, able to come on by, take that point for leading a lap, and he'll be able to continue to roll on. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. Working lap 57 of 134, getting closer and closer to halfway. Wasn't quite sure what the stages were this evening. I apologize. I just thought about that and I completely missed it. Maybe at some point I can grab Brendan Book right quick in his number 5 and just kind of remind me. Caution doesn't fly for this stage, but it would have been, might have been able to give a little bit of an idea as to where the cars were when those stage points were awarded. My fault. .42 of Brody Paliker gets back on by the 11. Now he's got the 61 of Micah Allard right up his trumpet. 91 of Rivers Jones right behind the 61. There you see the 51 of Steven Maggio and the 00 of Jurgensmeyer side by side. This is exactly what the 42 wants to see. He sees the entire field, or his immediate competition, side by side behind him. This is actually kind of what he sees. If we take a look at Brody Paliker's rear deck list. If he can, he wants to try to pull one car up and let the other, one line up and let the other line fall back, and vice versa. Almost like you would on a plate track like Daytona or Talladega or something like that. Lets the 11 go, goes down low, pulls Allard up. We might have a three-way battle, though, for P number 2 as the 51 takes it up the middle. He's going to pull low on the 11 and to the outside of Micah Allard. Allard has no point or no choice. He wisely backs out of that, chooses not to possibly end up 3 wide and maybe be the meat in that sandwich. That could have ended up pretty bad. I think the 11 might have tagged the wall there just a little bit. You saw the 51 and the 91 pull a couple of evasive maneuvers, getting on by the 11, but the 11 able to keep that speed up by virtue of being on that outside line. 91 finds a little bit of a gap right in front of the 5 of Brendan Book, and these guys continue to march on. Side-by-side battle between Allard and the 00 of Jurgensmeyer. 42 of Paliker still leading. Francis Hamilton at 48. He's starting to work his way back up towards the top. He started 8th, right now battling for P number 7. He's got the 37 to his inside. That's going to be Andrew Sanford. The 5 finds a hole right in front of the 48, 37 right behind him. And then the 61 of Allard, still the 00 down low. He's got a whole lot of dirty air, so I'm sure he's having to crank on that wheel just a little bit more than he probably wants to. Meanwhile, up high, you see the 5, 48, and 37 all take very distinct lines and able to carry as much speed off the corner as possible. Looking from Maggio's front bumper cam back to the 42, or up to the 42 rather. And as we take a look back from him, we see that number 91 for Rivers Jones and his Izzy and Jay Silco Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Car looks pretty fast. He said, yeah, race management definitely comes into play here at Homestead, Miami. Right now sitting P3 with Jimmy Cocker right behind, as well as Micah Allard. All right, so what do you say as we just passed, or just getting to halfway, what do you say we do a little bit of a crank it up session, go through some of the sights and sounds of Homestead Miami Speedway, starting with our leader, Brody Paliker, working through the field. If you got a nice sound bar, whatever you may have, go ahead and crank it up. Let's go. Caution is out. We saw it kind of live right there. 37 definitely going around. That's Andrew Sanford. Looks like might have collected one other, but I think that car is just flat retired. You see the entire front nose clip gone. I think it might have even seen a little bit of a puff of smoke. But how about that? What a way to wrap up a crank it up session. All right, let's go back with Andrew Sanford, see if we can find out exactly what happened right here. Nice little green flag stint. He's got the 48 just ahead. Let's play this out. 37 looks like he's already a little loose. Tries to overcorrect and misses Tom Harmon, but absolutely gets plugged from behind or from the side. Let's see if we can go ahead and see who that was. Let's stop there. We'll flip the camera around, and it looks like that might have been the. Actually, let's play this in slow-mo, quarter speed. There you see him kind of getting loose just a little. I don't believe he gets contacted by the 68. He's still completely sideways and just goes to correct it. You see him turning back. You see the blue gloves inside, turning back towards the inside. And then here comes the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell, just absolutely sending the 37. Sisler gets by, so does the 7 of Luke Allen. Very, very unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time for the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell. All right, very, very unfortunate times. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. All right, so Maggio did bring his crew down pit road. Brody Falker and Rivers Jones. Micah Allard is going to come out P number 4. We should be able to find Micah Allard down in Output Racing, I would imagine. Nope, Micah, he is going to be down in Team FTR for the evening. So we'll go ahead and go on down there and pull him up just for a quick second. Micah, it's Pete up in the booth, bud. You got a quick copy? Micah, it's Pete. You got me, sir?
Yeah, what's going on, Pete?
All right, Micah. So you're working your way forward. You definitely had top 5 speed all night long. You just need the right line, a little bit of clean air, I think, to work your way to the front and grab that point. What do you need out of this 61 to do just that, sir?
I mean, the car feels good. I've kind of figured out how to maintain it long run. I've noticed some areas that I'm beating other drivers and some areas that I'm not as good. So I just got to figure out how to keep the good areas and try to adapt and learn how to be better in certain other areas. But the 42 and the 51, they're really fast, and I'm just trying to be respectful of these championship hopefuls, and at the same time I still want to win, but just trying to be respectful and learn.
All right, Mike, I'll go ahead and I'll get you back. I see everybody's all racked and stacked back up. Keep the shiny side up, sir. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Pete.
You got it. Back on down to Team FTR goes Micah Allard, pilot of this number 61 Nitro machine. There he goes. All right, ladies and gents, you heard it from him. It just needs a little bit more. Meanwhile, being respectful of the chase or championship contenders. Let's go ahead and bring it on back to Barney. He's got the green flag in hand. Let's go. All right, looks like he had a little bit of a battle for the lead. 42, Brody Falker says he thinks that he's got something for the 51. He thought so last week too, and was able to pass Maggio. Maggio was able to pass him at the Glen, and then the 42 able to get back on by. Well, right now getting a big old push from the 91 of Rivers Jones. Down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. 42 down on the low side. 51 of Maggio kind of pinching him down just a little bit. This disallows the 42 to really get back on the throttle when he wants to. Has to let the wheel eat coming up and off the corner. Still somewhat side by side. 42 wants just a little bit of that left rear. not happening. 51 to the lead, all to himself. Falker, Jones, Brendan Book, and Micah Allard the top 5. How about Jimmy Cocker, though, with this last lap going shake and bake purple, posting the fastest time of the race so far, 34:11. The closest that I see around now, about a 34:14 by the guy we just talked to a moment ago, Micah Allard. So some pretty fast times out here. I think right now, though, those are the only two that have gotten down into the teens. Everybody else in the 2s and 3s. So a couple of pretty fast cars. Well, just as I say that, Francis Hamilton in that number 48 Camaro says, "Oh yeah, hold my beer." For 34:11 for him as well. So Francis Hamilton got a fast Camaro using a little bit of that draft right behind the 11 of Cocker. He's going to go ahead and set his own fastest lap. Looks like about the top 6, top 7, all single file. Going back to the 00 of Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer on the bottom. You see the 48 of Francis Hamilton take the high side, trying to gain just a little bit of momentum, trying to maybe get on by Brendan Book. He's going to take that momentum and pull to the inside of that HendrickCars.com number 5 for Book. The 11 of Jim Cocker going to come on down, kind of keeping the 61 to the outside. 61 should have a little bit more speed, but getting back on that throttle, you saw him all kinds of wiggly. 91 now to the outside behind the 51. 42 down low. They're side by side for P2. Just as the 42 liked what he saw. Well, 91 with a big old run to the inside now of Maggio. 91 wants the lead. 51 says, okay, you want to push that hard, I will see you later. But we talked to the 91. He said race management, race management, race management. Well, he just managed his way to the front. Now let's see what he does with it. Is he going to be able to keep the 51 behind? Meanwhile, not really pushing too hard for himself. Be able to conserve those tires, not burning off the right front, not sliding the right rear too much up and off these corners. Taking a look back from the 91, from his rear bumper. Two definite packs right now. You got Jonathan Jurgensmeyer sitting P8. Behind him, I believe that was the 50 of John Honeycutt. So let's take a look from John Jurgensmeyer. And yeah, there is that next pack. This from the 50 of Honeycutt. You see the 68 of Tom Harmon. He's down low. He's got the 1 of Hernandez to his outside. With them is going to be Josh Taylor and Jamie Wright. This from Josh Taylor's rear deck lid, or rear rooftop. It seems like Josh Taylor and Brian Pizzapemi have raced around each other all night. They got Jamie Wright right to his outside. Matt Sisler is going to be right behind them. Let's see, looking ahead now from John Honeycutt sitting in P9. You can see everything that's going on up there. I don't believe I saw any damage to the number 50. Let's take a quick look around. Maybe it was just a little bit of an issue on the restart. Maybe some checking up. Not 100% sure, but it looks like he's doing all right. I don't see any damage whatsoever to any of the fenders. I think what you see there off of his right rear, maybe just a little bit of rubber from the track, but not any real damage. Not missing anything up front. Rivers Jones still leading the 51 and 61 of Maggio and Micah Allard battling it out for P number 2. Francis Hamilton still sitting there in P4 in his Team FIWB number 48 Camaro. And then Jimmy Cocker in his Toyota. I think Jimmy Cocker, one of the only Toyotas in the field. I think there's only like 4 of them. Yeah, Maggio's got one. Jimmy Cocker has one. Jose Ruiz and Matt Gale both have Yodas, as well as Andrew Sanford, which right now finds himself on pit road, still on the damage clock, trying to fix up his number 37 Toyota Camry. If you're a fan of the different manufacturers in the races, I believe that there is. I can actually show you the car logo. There we go. Now you can see on the scoring pylon where your Fords and your Chevrolets and your Toyotas are running in the running order. Right now, a Ford, Toyota, and Chevrolet. A little bit of parity there. Top three, all the different manufacturers. What do y'all think about Dodge coming back to the Truck Series? I believe I saw that a couple days ago. They're going to bring a Dodge back to the trucks. In the days of AI, not quite sure how real that was, but definitely saw something recently on maybe a YouTube short or a TikTok. Not 100% sure, but yeah, there you go. All right, bring it back to the gap between the cars. Still not missing anything up front. Maggio still running second. Micah Allard in the 61 third. 42 of Brody Falker right now sitting P4. Rivers Jones, though, in his Izzy and J Soap Company, number 91 Ford Mustang Dark Horse, continuing to lead the way here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Working lap 90 of 134, so 44 laps remaining on the evening. I believe we've had about 4, maybe 5 cautions. That's some were for some light contact. 1 or 2 were a little bit in net code, but other than that, some pretty stout racing all the way around. Cocker back here in this number 11, down 3 spots right now, running P6. Got Brendan Book right behind him in that HenryCars.com number 5 Camaro. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00, shown real speed this evening. Just needs maybe a little bit of clean air to get that 00 up towards the front and collect some points for leading, and ultimately, hopefully, a good finish on his part. John Hernandez right behind him in the 1. It was the 50 of John Honeycutt for Team FTR leading this pack behind. Well, it looks like Hernandez has found another gear and starting to pull away just a little bit. You see the 68 for Tom Harmon just behind the 50 now. Here they are. You got Matt Sisler in that 45 up on the high side. 03 of right sliding up just a little bit. Able to back it down and save it. They're going to go side by side with Brian Pizzichemi. The 03 right behind there is Sisler and Pizzichemi. The 03 in the middle, there's the 2 of Josh Taylor. The 23 of Jose Ruiz. Jose Ruiz right now running 16th. He's up 13 spots on the evening for him and Team FTR. You see the 67 of Matt Gale just behind him on the high side. This is all back for P15, 16, and 17. It's Josh Taylor, Jose Ruiz, and Joe Berg. Matt Burgess back here, P19, with Jordan McGraw running P20. 21st going to be Connor Cunningham in that 3. He was able to keep it off the inside wall with a slide, but then got contact with the outside wall in a different caution. Behind him, you see the 24 of Philip Bridgman, and then Luke Allen just a little bit further back. Luke had to stay out a little while ago during a caution because he was in on lap 9 and accidentally took tires. Right now, Luke Allen finds himself in 23rd with Dylan Robb right behind him in his iBuyPower machine. That Camaro right now running 24th, down 1 spot after qualifying 23rd. 25th, Kevin Dallator in this number 92 with Jared Cardwell as he's leaving pit road after fixing up some damage. Good job by JC to get back out there and try to salvage whatever he can for the night. Andrew Sanford, William Roberts, Austin Mitty, Dave Moransky look like they are all still on pit road, I believe, right along with Tom Flickcroft as well. Let's take a look at Austin Mitty and everybody else. Yep, it looks like that's where they all are. So right now, Jarrett Cardwell is the last car running in P26 after fixing just a little bit of damage. Go ahead and check in with our leaders. It looks like Rivers Jones has lost the lead to Brody Falker and Steven Maggio. Let's see if we can find out exactly how that happened. It looks like Rivers Jones, I'm trying to get back up there for you right quick. There we go. Here's how that pass happened between Maggio and Rivers. Let's go ahead and play this out. Looks like Maggio just up on that high side. He's going to have a little bit more speed, a little bit more momentum, and then somehow the 42 also tends to get by. There's the 51 kind of pinching the 91 down, so the 91 can't open the wall or can't open the wheel and get back in the throttle when he wants to. So it forces him to go ahead and take second place. There you see the 42 maybe going a little bit higher. He's got the 61 of Micah Allard right in tow. 91 keeping it off the wall. This is the exit of turn 4 down the straightaway, and this is how the pass for P2 happens. 42 goes ahead and pulls low, gets it underneath the 91. 91 way up on the high side. 61 right behind, has no choice but to give the spot away, and that's how Brody Falker gets up to P2. All right, let's go ahead and bring it back live. Tom Fleety says, my computer decided it didn't want me to race tonight. Tom, I'm absolutely sorry to hear that, bud. I know you and that number 8 Bud machine would have been bad fast. I saw you in practice. You looked pretty good. Very unfortunate, but Tom, next week, like I was just telling Polish Hammer a little bit ago, next week is Michigan. I know you're going to be fast there. You're always good at Michigan. Looking forward to seeing what you're capable of doing, maybe going ahead and grabbing a checkers again this season. Battle for the lead. Looks like the 42 down low to the inside of Maggio. The 91 kind of staying right there with him. 51 doing the same thing that he did to the 91, kind of keeping a pinch down. 42 not able to get back in the throttle, has to settle for second place. Still a big old push down the backstretch. Tom Freakoff says, we'll be back tonight we'll be back strong for Michigan. Definitely looking forward to it, Tom. All right, working lap 134, now 33 laps remaining. A couple of the guys that have been strongest all night long still running 1-2. Of course, talking about Maggio and Falker. Rivers Jones still sitting third. Micah Allard fourth. Francis Hamilton fifth. Jimmy Cocker right now back in P6. Brendan Book in seventh. Jimmy Jurgensmeyer running eighth. John Honeycutt ninth, and Tom Harmon rounds out the top 10 with Brian Pizzicami right behind him in that number 78. And then, of course, you've got Jonathan Hernandez in that number 1 to round out the top 12, but he's under threat by the 2 of Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor up on that high side. He went around him on the outside, really making that line work. He's going to be able to clear himself, bringing that deuce back on down to get himself closer to the top 10. I tell you, the 2 for Josh Taylor all season long has been very, very fast. He got the win at Bristol Motor Speedway earlier in the season, which solidified his seat in the championship hunt. And it wasn't too long ago where I believe he got into a wreck or something happened with him, and he said, "Rip top 10 streak in SNB." The guy's been bad fast all season long, and definitely a contender every single week inside the top 10. You only need something to go right in order to go ahead and grab a win, just like he did at Bristol. Bristol, he just had some bad fast speed and was able to get it done. All right, looks like our top 3, Maggio still leading. The 91 and 42, they have to settle back to get back in line. Looks like Micah Allard, he's going to try that high side, right, as well as the 48 Francis Hamilton. 5 of Brendan Book down low inside the 48. But that outside momentum going to make Brendan go ahead and slot right back in behind the 48. Jimmy Cocker also back here in his Virginia Tech number 11. There is Jared Cardwell, fresh off the damage clock. Wrapping that high side. He's going to be able to get back around the 11. But again, that is not a battle for position. Right now, the number 12 was relegated all the way back to 26, several laps down. Yeah, Cardwell right now sitting P. Like I just mentioned, a little bit further in the back, sitting P26, 16 laps down. Number 12 on those new tires got to feel like Superman as he dices his way through the competition. Just right now on the outside of the 91 of Rivers Jones, got past the 61 of Micah Allard. Now he's going to pull to the back bumper of the 42 of Brody Falliker, maybe give him a little bit of a shot down the backstretch. I believe that was just the 61 that tagged that outside wall just a tad. So he's down low. A few cars going to be able to get on by. The 48 is going to be able to get on by. So is the 11 of Jimmy Cocker. The 61 is going to try to fight back hard on the outside. The 12 of Cardwell able to get on by the 42. 42 probably does not want to see him right now. Definitely does not want to see him get in front of the 51 to where Maggio has a little bit of draft. Maggio says, nope, I'll go ahead and let you go. Will this work for the 42? The 42 is going to have the draft. Nope. I thought maybe the 42 would have the draft of the 12 and stay up high to where the 12 of Cardwell would pull him off the corner. But instead, the 42 decided to go ahead and pull low. The 51 pulls up right behind the 12. So does the 91. So top three all cleared by the 12 of Cardwell as he gets one of his laps back. Top three all nose to tail. Meanwhile, for P4, talking about Brendan Book in the 48 of Francis Hamilton. Jimmy Cocker right back there with him, as well as the 61 of Micah Allard. And the car that you see back there with them, the 00 of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, right now sitting P8. Kind of solidly staying inside the top 10 all night long. Has really had some good speed. Tom Harmon right now sitting P9, and to round out the top 10, the one and only John Honeycutt. Element Zero says, probably for the best, Tom. Well, I don't know. Element, good to see you out there, man. It's definitely been far too long. Hope you're well. It's odd, years deposed from console, running the heat races on Xbox and whatnot. Used to know people just by gamer tag. Now when I see somebody's gamer tag, I forget who they were. or I probably still know them by name, but I just don't remember gamer tags anymore. Tom Flitty, I'll never, ever, ever forget that. But there we go. All right, 24 to go, past the 25 to go mark. Maggio still leading, still has the 42 just in tow. And then the 91 of Rivers Jones starting to fall off a little bit. You see the 67 of Matt Gale get on by, but that is not for position. Matt Gale trying to get a lap back as well after coming off the damage clock. 67, kind of a little loose. Maybe wasn't quite sure where the 42 was. Did see him blinking out for just a moment. There's the 5 of Brendan Book and the 91 of Rivers Jones. Little side-by-side action. Rivers choosing to stay up on the high side. Meanwhile, the 5 of Book down low, trying to wrap the white line. All these guys have been out on track since lap 74. From first all the way through Dylan Robb back in 24th position, and then Matt Gale, who you just saw, just scream by all these guys. He was on pit road on lap 102. So Matt Gale sitting P25, and there you see on the scoring pylon, he is the last car on the lead lap, hoping to maybe just make up some time should a caution fly, and he'd go down and have all that track position to where he and they would be able to go on down pit road, and if he has a set of tires left, be able to grab a set of tires and move on through. All right, so that was just, again, Matt Gale getting his lap back to become the last car on the lead lap. Maggio still leading the way. Brody Falliker P2, Brendan Book third, Rivers Jones fourth, Jimmy Cocker P5, Micah Allard sitting P6, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer P7, P8 going to be the 48 of Francis Hamilton, Tom Harmon P9, John Honeycutt right now running P10, Brian Pizzakemi in 11th with Jonathan Hernandez right behind him. Josh Taylor in the deuce, that old MGD paint scheme from yesteryear. Joe Berg a little bit further back in his number 93 with Jose Ruiz and his McDonald's machine sitting 15th. 16th is going to be Connor Cunningham in Dale Jr.'s AC Delco colors. And then you've got the 34 of Jordan McGraw sitting 17th, up 11 spots for this evening. Matt Burgess into 57, sitting 18th with Matt Sisler 19th. Luke Allen, who stayed out a long time ago, right now finds himself in P20, down 6 spots from where he started. Jamie Wright, who showed a lot of speed in practice, finds himself 21st. Philip Bridgman in the 24, up 3 spots to 22nd. Kevin Dallator up 8 to 23rd in that number 92 Chevrolet. Dylan Robb in that 16, he's down 1 spot after starting 23rd, sitting 24th. 25th going to be Matt Gale, just getting his lap back. Jarrett Cardwell down 15 laps. Andrew Sanford, William Roberts, Austin Mitty, Dave Moransky, and Tom Flitcroft would be the rest of the running order. Back up front, right now it is the 51 of Maggio. Brody Falliker said that he felt really, really good on the long run. Is he running too long, though, in the dirty air of that 51? Is he going to be able to get on up there and push the 51 to try to make a mistake? Brendan Book right now sitting P3, able to get on by the 91 of Rivers Jones, and then Jimmy Cocker to round out the top 5. Can Brody Falliker get on up there and really, really push the 51? He said he didn't want to see that caution come out. He thought he'd be able to get on by the 51 just on setup and raw speed. Well, he's got 18 now, 17 laps to get on up there and do just that. Brendan Book trying to do everything that he can. This from the front roof cam, looking ahead at the 51 and the 42, really wrapping that high side, trying to carry momentum off of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Also carry a little bit of draft off the 42 as well. Looks like Book's going to go ahead and dive it to the bottom through turns 3 and 4. Pulling just a little bit closer to the back end of the 42. You see the 42 staying just a little bit lower than the 51 as well. Trying not to get in this dirty air, which would force him to turn that wheel just a little bit more and crank a little extra tire, or scrub just a little extra tire off that RJ created Camaro. 51 wondering which line to go to. Brendan Book down low. Rivers Jones, he's way up high. Top 3, as you can tell from Rivers Jones' nose camera, front bumper camera, the top 3 have absolutely pulled away. This is from Rivers. Jimmy Cocker right behind him, looking at the back bumper of Rivers Jones. The top 3, as you can see from the front bumper of Jimmy Cocker, all different lines. 42 up high, 51 down low, 5 of Brendan Book. He was also down low. Big battle up here for the top 3. 42, you saw him stay high. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to work out, whether he was going to have that run all the way through, but there he is again trying to stay lower than the 51, not to get into his dirty air and have to crank on that wheel a little bit more causing excessive tire wear. Looking back from Brendan Book's number 5 machine, just another look at the gap, going back to Rivers Jones, Jonathan Jernemeyer, and Jimmy Cocker. And I was mentioning Jimmy Cocker earlier and the speed that he's got and how he's been solidly inside the top 10 all night long. Well, here he is with 13 laps to go, 12 next time by. Kind of getting on down on the bottom, right with the 68 of Tom Harmon, the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, 91 still up high. But it looks like Jerg starting to show a little bit of speed, moving his way on up. Again, he started in P7, now sitting P5, been inside the top 10 all night long. It seems like the end of the race is the right time for him, trying to pull maybe on that 91 just a little bit. Just not quite there. There's the 68. He's going to go ahead and throw it low. He's got all kinds of clean air on the nose of his frozen Camaro. Not missing anything up front. It's still Maggio, Falliker, and Book. The gap right now between Maggio and Falliker, as you can see there on the scoring pylon, is about 2 to 3 tenths. Nothing going on up there just yet. We'll have to see if Falliker still has that long run speed as we come to 10 to go next time by. Harmon taking over P4. I don't know if he'll have enough time to catch Brendan Book. Taking a look from his front cam, he's got a long way to go. He's got about 2.9 seconds up to the 5 of Brendan Book. You see Book up there in that second group, while the 42 and the 51 choose different lines. But you look at, take a look at some lap times for Tom Harmon and everybody else around him. See exactly how he compares. Harmon fastest 2 of the last 5 laps between him, Book, and Rivers Jones. So take a look back from him, you'll start to see him kind of leading this pack and solidly inside the top 5. Rivers Jones right now running P5. Let's do the same thing with these lap times between our top 3. I would imagine that it's all over the place. And yeah, I mean, Brody Falliker, he's been faster 3 of the last 5 laps. Brendan Book 2 of the last 5 laps, and then Maggio, kind of 2 laps as well. So these guys kind of throwing haymakers at each other lap after lap, seeing who's the fastest. And sometimes it's just by a few hundredths. Where you see Book on lap 123, he was a good 10th and a half faster than those around him. So yeah, these guys got a lot of speed in the cars, just have to put it in the right place at the right time to try to make that move when it really happens. See the 5 of Brendan Book getting a little loose coming off of turn number 2, down the backstretch, heading into turns 3 and 4. 51 and the 42 go low. Caution is out with 8 laps to go. That means it's going to be an interesting restart. Looks like Matt Bird is going to have something to do with this. So let's go on back with Matt right now. We'll switch it around to our chase cam and see if we can find out exactly what happened with this 57. Interesting. All right, let's play this out. Actually, we're gonna back this up because we got to figure out how he got down on this road here. Interesting. All right, let's stop that and play it forward. Definitely has some right front damage. Maybe getting out of the way of the rest of the competition. Not 100% sure. But kind of taking the road course to maybe just to keep it off track. Let him kind of sort that out just a little bit later on. Well, let's go ahead and bring it back live. All right, down pit road for the last time. This is going to be a great shootout. 42, did he slide past his box? No, he didn't. Definitely looked pretty close for him. Trying to gain as much time as he could on the 51 and the 5. We'll have to see who comes out first. Race off pit road sees the 51, the 42 P2. Brendan Book closely attested by the 91 of Rivers Jones, and the rest kind of filing off as well. We are not going to bother Steven Maggio, Brody Fowler, Brendan Book, or Rivers Jones. Let's see if we can pick up with Tom Harmon, though. Harmon right now sitting P5. Let's see if we can grab him in that frozen number 68. He's down there hanging out with the rest of Output Racing. Let's go ahead and bring him on up to the booth real quick. Thomas, it's Pete up in the booth, bud. You got a quick copy in that 68 machine?
Yeah, Tiff, I got you.
All right, Tom, you've been slowly but surely working your way back up through the field. You really needed this caution because you were stuck back in a pack of cars, but you started to pull away just a little bit. Can you get on up there and possibly claim this checkers for yourself, sir?
Your guess is going to be as good as mine. I think I can, but whether or not we destroy everything, that remains to be seen.
Well, I mean, right now that scheme looks pretty good. I called you the Avril Lavigne 68 out of pure,
habit?
Yeah, habit anymore. But I see you all racked and stacked back up, coming off to going down the backstretch now. As always, sir, keep the shiny side up. Good luck, and go get them.
Thanks, sir. I'll do what I can.
You got to pilot up that number 68 Frozen Machine back on down with Team Output Racing right now. Wishing him the best of luck as we come to 4 laps remaining when we get back to the green flag. All right, here we go. So Steven Maggio, he's going to be the control car. He has chosen the bottom side. 42 Brody Fowler goes outside. Brendan Book, the 91, the 68 of Harmon, and the 00 of Jurg. All these fast cars racked and stacked back up. We're going to get on back over to Barney in the start stand. Let's go. Off of turn number 4, the 51 is going to be able to stay leading that lap. You saw the 42 trying to challenge to the outside. 51 committed to the bottom side. 42 goes on down there with him. Battle behind him between the 91 and the 00 of Jurgensmeyer. Right now, Jurgensmeyer does have the 3rd spot. Rivers Jones fighting hard on the outside. 51 swerving down, back up high, trying to break the draft of the 42. 42 has that outside line. Chooses again, this time to go ahead and go low. 3 laps remaining from Homestead, Miami. Just 2 races left in season number 5. Michigan next week, followed by the Atlanta Legacy Course, where everything is back in the driver's hands. 42 still staying tucked up behind the 51. 91, 00, 11 of Jimmy Cocker, Brendan Book, John Honeycutt, and Micah Allard, the top 8. Brody Fowler going shake a big purple on his last lap. Has a little bit of that left rear. Tried to pull the 51 of Steven Maggio back. Maggio fighting hard back on the outside, able to clear the 42 by staying in the throttle. Coming to the white flag. Maggio has it. 42 getting a big old push from the 91 of Rivers Jones. 51 down, 42 still there with him. He's got one more chance through turns 3 and 4 to try to wrap that high side and carry momentum. 51 again, trying to shake him, trying to shake that draft. through turns 3 and 4. 42's got to be hard on the throttle, but it doesn't look like he's going to have it in the car to clear him off of turn number 4. It looks like the 51 of Maggio is going to win at Homestead. Brody Falker's going to come in P2. Rivers Jones 3rd. Jurgensmeyer 4th. Jimmy Cocker P5. P6 going to be Brendan Book. Francis Hamilton 7th. Micah Allard 8th. John Honeycutt 9th. And Tom Harmon rounds out the top 10. What a battle. What a battle. All these drivers coming on up to congratulate the 51 on this win. There's Brendan Book making a little bit of contact with Wright. I'm sure that was clearly just incidental. Here comes the 12 and the 92 coming on up to maybe rub fenders with that 51 Aflac machine. All right, let's go ahead and clear the boards for the 51. Steven, it's all yours. Burn them down. All right, 51's going to go ahead and get it back to the start stripe just as the motor pops, parking it right underneath Barney the flagman, and that is going to call that a race. All right, ladies and gents, we will be right back with our top 3 live in the booth. We'll kick it off with Rivers Jones finishing P3 in his Izzy & J Soapco number 91, Brody Falliker in his RJ Creative number 42 Camaro, and Steven Maggio bringing home the dub in his number 51 Toyota Camry. All right, ladies and gents, don't anybody go anywhere. We will be right back with our top 3.
Thank you. Good race.
Yeah, but that's fun. I knew that caution was going to come out. I had been kind of just mentally preparing for it. Oh, really? It was like that?
He likes stuff on the road.
Oh, come on.
Oh, wait, really? Oh my god. That's bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Glad that last caution came out. Oh, so I was gonna go backwards real far. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gents, we are back. Got our top 3. Again, going to kick it off with that number 91 Ford Mustang Dark Horse in the Izzy & J Soapco colors. Talking about, of course, the one and only pilot of that number 91, Rivers Jones. Rivers, we talked to you earlier, and part of our conversation was about race management. That caution that came out with 5 to go, pretty much, about 8 laps to go, bringing it down to about 5 when we went back green. All kinds of things going on in front of you and behind you. What more did you need to grab these checkers for yourself, sir?
I think I just needed to really conserve my tires better on that final run. I was leading for a little while, and then at one point, Steven and Brody, they just outmatched me on the tire saving front. They just flew past me, and I knew I had done a good enough job saving my tires, so I was kind of hanging on from that point on. Brendan Book got past me at one point, and I was running the top the rest of the stint, just trying to preserve my track position, minimize the amount of losses that I was going to have come to the end of the race. But fortunately, we had that last caution that really helped me out tonight.
I completely biffed on the stage laps, and not quite sure where you were during the first stage. Eliza usually covers all that. I forgot to even look. She has a graphic that comes up, and we go over that as the beginning of the race goes on. So stage points and this P3 finish should pretty much, it's going to help you as we look forward to Michigan next week. I know you were pretty fast there last time. What do you feel about going back to the Irish Hills for the penultimate race in Season 5?
I feel pretty confident. I've had a speed at Michigan, but ultimately, I feel like it's going to be a big draft race, and it's just going to be all about, track position. I feel like it's going to be really important because it's going to be, just a lot of sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. But I feel like track position is gonna be important because staying up front is always gonna be important, especially in Michigan. So I feel confident for sure.
All right, and one last question before I ask you about any friends, family, sponsors that you want to get out there. The engine package that we'll have at Michigan, is that a pro or a con for you?
It's difficult because I would say I've been pretty good with the 550 tracks this season. I've got a lot of my good finishes there, but I enjoy driving the higher horsepowered cars a lot more. But I think the engine package definitely plays in my hands a little bit for sure.
All right, buddy. Of course, last but not least, any friends, family, or sponsors that you want to get out there?
Thank you to my mom and dad. Thank you to you for helping bring on Izzy and Jay Soap sponsorship for this season. That's really cool. This is the first time I've been able to get a podium with these colors this season. So shout out to Izzy and Jay, the namesakes. Let's see, the FIWB boys. I was in GC that race. Great talking with them. Communicate strategy. Shout out to Steve Maggio on the win.
There you go. Congratulations again, Rivers. We'll see you next week in the Irish Hills of Michigan.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Brody Falliker, a very, very hard-fought battle. We talked to you also during one of those cautions. You definitely said you had some great speed in your RJ Creative number 42 Camaro. In those closing laps, usually when we're talking swerving from side to side, trying to break a draft, we're at like Indianapolis or something like that. Not typically a track like Homestead. What more did you need? Was it that it seemed like that last ditch effort, maybe where you went up high and just weren't able to stay up there? I saw you following the 51 versus trying to really wrap that high side, try to get that momentum to work in your favor down those long straights. What more did you need, sir?
I don't know. On the last long run, it was really difficult. Being behind Steven. God, the air behind these cars is a lot, and I just couldn't. If I went low on him, I'd get insanely tight, and then it'd break loose really out of nowhere, and I wouldn't be able to even keep pace with him down the straightaway or whatever, so I'd have to go back to the drawing board. I feel like I tried really everything that I could think of other than shipping him in the last corner, but I was not going to do that. He definitely earned that one. For points' sake, hurts a little bit. I feel like I was bested in pretty much every category. I even won the stage. I got second, and then one spot too short at the end of the race. Hats off to Steven. He ran a great race. We'll be back for Michigan, and hopefully we can close out this season real strong.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the points, you came in just 18 points behind Maggio. Actually, I'm sorry, you are now 18 points behind Maggio after this race with 2 to go. Talking about Michigan, the bad fast track that is. I mean, in days of yesteryear in the Cup cars, those cars were going 200 plus into turns 1 and 3. What do you anticipate out of that race next week?
Oh, it's definitely going to be pack racing. It's going to bring a lot more people into the finish of these races. Hopefully, we don't have a situation like what happened at Jurg last season. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be exciting. We're definitely going to be bringing a real fast 42 car right here. This team's been pretty solid at every track. This season, so I don't expect anything different for Michigan. Hopefully the driver's ready.
All right, Brody. Congratulations on this runner-up. Definitely a great points night for you, getting tighter and tighter with the last 2 races remaining. Any quick friends, family, sponsors you want to get out there, sir?
Definitely the FIWB boys. Big shout out to Rivers, RJ Creative. He makes some real nice paint schemes. Y'all should go check him out. And then shout out to Steven.
Why not, right?
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of which, congrats again, Brody. We'll see you next week in Michigan.
Thank you, Pete.
You got it, buddy. All right, moving on up, Steven. We talked to you earlier. You said you were gonna pretty much try to control the what you could control. The pace that you were running, stay off the traffic that you had around you, and it really looks like you did just that. That last caution that came out with less than 10 laps to go, did you want to see that caution, or were you pretty happy with where you were?
I definitely didn't want to see that. I felt like I was in a really good spot. I had just been kind of managing the gap the whole time because the draft in these cars are just so strong that I really didn't feel like I could pull away, and I didn't want to use up all my stuff pulling away, and then God forbid he get back in my draft, then I'm at a tire deficit and he's got my draft, and that would have just been a really bad situation to be in. So I was just kind of running my pace, and I could see he was maybe struggling a little bit with the dirty air. So I was just trying to, manage about a 3/10 gap, and then if he would get to me, I would give him the inside because I could run the second line pretty well, and he would get a little bit tight on the inside, and I would be able to hold the lead. So I felt like I was in a really good spot, but I don't know if you've ever seen this documentary called Rowdy. It's about Kyle Busch's 2015 championship, and he says at one point, he goes, I'm leading, but you're kind of it's a championship race. You're kind of just always waiting for that late yellow to come out, and that's what I was kind of thinking tonight. I was like, I'm in a good spot if this goes green to the end, but just got to mentally prepare for what's probably going to happen with being a late yellow, and then sure enough, it came out, but I was able to hold him off for that final restart. It kind of probably looked pretty silly because I was breaking draft so much, but I just didn't want him to get to me.
Yeah, like I was just telling Brody, I don't normally see cars trying to break draft at a place like Homestead. You see it at Indy and a couple others, but never really here at Homestead. I think that's probably the first I've ever seen. But going into each set of corners, 1 and 2, and then of course 3 and 4, the high side carries a lot of momentum. You chose to go low and really wrap the white line versus keeping it up high and really running the wall all the way through. Was your car a little bit tighter on the high sides where you were afraid of making contact with the wall, or did you just feel that stable on the bottom?
No, I was actually definitely tighter on the bottom. I didn't even run the wall tonight, not even one lap. I didn't practice, and it just felt weird. It didn't feel normal. It was it was really snappy loose,
Okay.
and I just didn't like it, and I thought that it would kill the tires a little bit more. I know in real life they save tires up at the top, but in iRacing it's the complete opposite, where I feel like you just kill your stuff on the top, so I was just trying to stay on the bottom and make sure I got all the way down to the white line to give as much dirty air as possible.
Well, next week we go to Michigan after this win. I know and we talked about this earlier, you wanted redemption after the Glen. You felt like maybe you got robbed out of that one. You haven't quite, I think I saw a tweet from you earlier where you've yet to win a road course here in Shake and Bake, and last week slipped through your fingers. Tonight definitely got to be a little taste of redemption for you. But are you looking forward to Michigan next week, or are you looking and the pack style racing that we're probably going to see, or would you like to maybe see a little bit of separation?
No, God, no, I'm not looking forward to next week. It's going to be super speedway racing. That's very scary. It's probably the most, probably the most dangerous race in the. I mean, obviously we had Dega, but this is probably the second most dangerous race of the chase, because it's just anyone can be up there with the draft and everything, and it's funny because aside from Dega, Brody and I have finished, or we've been battling each other for the lead like every race. We finished 1-3 at Richmond, but really it would have been 1-2 without Josh Taylor's tire strategy, and then 1-2 at the Glen, which, as much as I would love to say I was robbed, I don't really think I was. He just beat me. I feel like I beat myself, and he just ran a better race than I did. So I'm happy to get redemption for that, and then we finished 1-2 tonight, so we'll see what we do for the last 2 races of the season.
Congratulations on yet another win here in Season 5. Any friends, family, or sponsors you want to get out there, sir?
Yeah, shout out you for doing the booth. I know Eliza's on vacation, so shout out to her. I hope she's having fun. And shout out Brody. Like I said, we've been having a lot of battles in this chase. It's been fun. Shout out Rivers. He was leading some laps there for his sponsor, and I know he's been telling me that he really wants to get a podium and an interview for his sponsor, so I'm happy he finally got that. And shout out Jurg and Jamie, who are in my voice chat tonight. My team Goat Inc., and I think that's about it.
All right, buddy. Congratulations. We'll see you next week at Michigan, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You got it. All right, ladies and gents, that is going to wrap it up here from Homestead Miami Speedway, deep South Florida. Definitely want to appreciate and say thank you again to Izzy and Jay Soap Co. I'll go ahead and put their link out there one more time. Again, if you tattoo butter, skin cream, if you need anything for oily skin, dry skin, beard balm, mustache balm, whatever it is you may need, please go on over. I promise you, as a customer of their product, absolutely love it. I just got a whole package of their soaps in not too long ago, and I tell you, when I got that package in the mailbox, it smelled so great. Please go on over, izzyandjsoapco.com. I'll put the link out there one more time. Go on over, check them out. Tell them Pete sent you. They'll know. I promise you, they'll know exactly who you're talking about. And thank you again, everybody. Eliza, I missed you tonight. We'll see you next week from Michigan